Everybody, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about the new forming of another Hydra team with the introduction of Baron Zemo. We already know 3 characters that are more than likely expected to be on this team: Winter Soldier, Crossbones, and Hydra Grenadier, along with Baron Zemo. So that's your 4. What about the 5th? So we're going to talk about who that might be, what they're going to bring to the table, and kind of understand a little bit about how this team might work. Who are they going to go against? Obviously, people immediately start talking Hydra versus Hydra because of the Baron Zemo attacking minions a little bit harder, the anti-revive mechanic in his kit, which makes a lot of sense. But is there another minion team out there, or semi-minion team, that this team might be really good against? We'll see. So anyway, we're going to jump into it. I'm not going to elaborate real long here because there's a lot to look at, but that's what we're going to focus on. So let's see where we're right, where we're wrong. If you want to come chat about this on the Discord, the link is in the description below. Come join. Love to have people come over there and give me all their thoughts, feelings, etc. So let's just jump right in.
Bring me WolverThor!
All right, so we're going to start with what was in the blog yesterday or Friday or whatever day it was, depending when you're watching this. And I think where we've really got to start with this team and this character for Baron Zemo is his passive. One of the things you got to understand here is on spawn, he gets charged, okay? And he applies immunity for 1 turn on and defense up for 2 turns for self and all Hydra allies. So anybody who's Hydra gets immunity and gets defense up for 2 turns. Or, well, immunity 1 turn and defense up for 2 turns. So that's great, and he gets charged. Okay, so then the charge dynamic. We gotta understand that. On his turn, and this is from his passive, if he's charged, you're gonna attack all non-minion enemies for 300% damage, and minion enemies for 400% damage. And that's not the important part. It's amazing, but that's not the important part. But then, you're gonna clear 3 positive effects from all enemies, apply disrupted for 2 turns, to all minion enemies and lose charge. So think about that for a second. So he's gonna just on his turn, before you pick any ability, he's gonna attack all enemies essentially for some certain damage, depending if you're a minion or not. Clear 3 positive effects from everybody. So think deflect, think automatic defense up, anything that someone on war defense might have. Apply disrupted for 2 turns to all minion enemies and then lose charged. There's another part in here that's really important with the 40% speed and the non-minion Hydra allies gaining that 40% speed. So your Crossbones and your Winter Soldier are all going to gain that 40% speed. On war offense, on minion enemy turn or enemy minion turn, apply an evade for himself and anybody next to him. So the part here that we really want to focus on is the clear 3 positive effects, because originally when you're kind of looking at this in Crossbones, well, Crossbones, and if you scroll down here, the part that you get with Crossbones is that his passive, if Zemo's an ally, you generate ability energy for self, which means he's going to detonate first turn. Well, you're like, well, I don't want to detonate into deflex or detonate into defense up. Well, in theory, Baron Zemo with his passive, if his focus is high enough, he's going to clear those defense ups and deflex depending how quickly Zemo goes. So that is something we're going to want to pay a lot of attention to, is seeing the speed for Zemo. And we're going to jump into the stats here. So for those of you who aren't aware, I have this giant list of stats, right? And I rank all characters in this sheet. Well, with the 40% speed boost, you're getting Crossbones at 138 speed, okay? And then you're getting Winter Soldier at 127. If you go all the way at the top here, not factoring any other speed ups in the game, that puts them before. The only people going faster are Black Widow and Yo-Yo. So Black Widow might give somebody speed up, which is amazing. And then you've got the Nick Furies of the world, anybody else who might, the Black Orders of the world who are going to get those automatic type speed bar boosts. Same thing with like a Domino. But it seems like the way Baron Zemo's setting this up is for Crossbones and Winter Soldier and the Hydra team to go way faster. Now, if you're looking at this, Crossbones is at 99. So assuming Baron Zemo is at least at 99 or higher, I'd like to see him come in around the 101 mark. If that was the case, you're going to see, a speed of about 141, which is going to put him before Yo-Yo. That's pretty darn good. So I'm hoping Baron Zemo has a really good speed to be able to clear these effects early and a high focus. Now, the next part is, well, what's he going to do next, right? So you're clearing some effects. Depending what his speed is, you're going to get Winter Soldier doing his ultimate and Crossbones doing his ultimate to somebody. Now, Crossbones is, going to detonate to attack to all. Winter Soldier's more of a solo attack. Then you've got the Baron Zemo, when he go, his actual ability is either going to be ultimate or special. And when you're looking at this, it's kind of like, okay, well, his ultimate gives him another charged, which means on turn 2, he could do everything we just said again. So that kind of leans me towards that. It's like, all right, well, what's his ultimate? You attack primary target for a bunch of damage, apply ability block for 1 turn, and slow for 2 turns. So you're really limiting whoever you attack here, assuming he's got really good speed for quite a bit. And then rebound chain to some targets and apply slow for 2 turns. Again, that's awesome. Key part here is you get charged after you're done, which, like I said, is going to give you that passive ability one more time. So what I really like about this is like, okay, who am I going to attack here to do an ability block? It's like, yes, the Hydra, you could do it to Red Skull or something along those lines. But I'm thinking about Mercs. And I'm thinking about doing that ability block to potentially Taskmaster. I really like it. You get his ultimate maybe out. Or keep him from doing his ultimate. And his passive is putting Disrupt on Merc Riot Guard. And is putting it on Merc Lieutenant. So you gotta love that, right? And I'm like, okay. And if you've got Crossbones going after, that means you're going to do an explode without a lot of deflects to those characters. You've got a Winter Soldier who's going to nuke somebody with his ultimate. Ideally, go right at or go at Taskmaster. Could potentially take him out. It's like, all right. If you don't do that, and you're thinking about maybe using Baron Zemo's special, you clear 3 death proofs from somebody, attack primary target. Depending on a minion or not, it is more damage. If a minion is killed by this, they can't be revived. Again, in a Merc situation, that's not going to matter. This really only matters in the Hydra situation where you're attacking another Hydra team, or maybe the Shield where you don't want to get Medic reviving one of the Shield minions, which I don't know if I really love that counter, but it is out there. It is being discussed. And then this special for Baron Zemo, you get a bunch of extra focus and it's unavoidable and cannot be blocked. So you're like, okay, so you're definitely clearing the death proofs. You're attacking for more damage and people aren't going to be revived. But I still love his ultimate first turn to get that charge again for a second turn to really screw up a team from getting much going at all. The only other thing to really look at is his basic, which honestly isn't really going to probably happen until 3rd turn because you're going to be wanting to do that special and the ultimate the first 2 turns, but you get an assist from the Hydra Grenadier, which we'll look at in a second. He's kind of a factor, but not really. But we'll see what his basic does in an assist. All right, so the assist here, you can see in MSF.GG, it's really, and this damage is going to get increased, but really the key here is you're going to apply slow for 1 turn. Cool. All right. Now, the only other thing that Hydra Grenadier is bringing to the table is some additional focus, which again is going to get bumped, and his special, which is going to clear some positive effects. 1 positive effect, and repeat this attack 1 time. So you could clear 2 positive effects. If you dump T4s into this, it still doesn't do anything more than that. It's an increase of damage, at least as of right now. So Hydra Grenadier, I'm not really, he's definitely replaceable here if you want, but, the assist and the slow and maybe some clears, it's semi-usable, I guess. So we understand the Zemo dynamic here, and like I said, that means, and we just talked about what you get from Hydra Grenadier, it's just increased damage, increased focus, and if he's an ally of Zemo, he gets more damage. But Winter Soldier, again, he's got some extra health. There's nothing really changed here dramatically, except for some extra damage. Crossbones, the biggest thing here is he's going to get defense up on his ultimate, and he's going to gain energy for himself for that first turn ultimate. So you want to make sure that Zemo is going sooner. And I'm saying this to Scopely before these guys, because you need to clear the positive effects to take some characters off the board. Now, that's it. These are the changes for this game. So it's like, well, what are we missing here? What is missing from this team to be able to go and make them better? Especially for an offense team. Offense up, right? And that's, okay, so how am I going to get that? Now, there are other characters around which we could look at. Kingpin, he's kind of not anywhere, but he's not going to go until after everybody uses their first turn ultimates. Unless you want to try to hold it, which maybe that could be fine. And you could extend that defense up for another turn. You just wait a little bit. Maybe you summon the minions first. and then get the offense up, and then do Winter Soldier's ultimate and Crossbone's ultimate. But you do have some risk there. You want to make sure that you've got ability blocks on characters that are potentially going to cause problems for you if you're attacking like a Mercs type team. There's also, you can bring over Hydra Sniper, which again, you know, he's slower than both. I jumped back to this stat bar. Hydra Sniper is slower than Crossbones, especially once you factor in the speed up from Zemo, and he's normally faster Winter Soldier, but not with the speed up, and he's a minion. So it's like, and that'll handcuff your Red Skull defense team. So I'm not necessarily loving that. The Kingpin, again, he's way at the bottom here with his speed. It's terrible. So you're really not getting that offense up until your second turn, which I suppose is okay if you want to wait, but that means you're either taunting first turn with Crossbones or potentially basicing, which could be okay if you want to put an offense down on somebody if he lands it. Besides that, you know, Black Widow could give you some speed ups to help things get going quicker, and she gives that stun if you want to throw them out there. Not bad in the meantime. But then there's some other potential Hydra characters that I'm expecting to come to the game that could actually give you what you want here. All right, so this is a list of some Hydra members that I think could potentially... Obviously, Red Skull's out of the game. Shout out to Todd, who's part of the Patreon group in my Discord. He and I talk quite a bit, and he's the one who shared this link, and we were talking about this. I personally think Baron Strucker or Arnim Zola are probably the ones who are likely. Though Viper, who was in the Wolverine movie, probably didn't realize she was associated with Hydra. I definitely didn't. I was like, who's this random Viper person? And when Todd sent me this, I was like, oh, Viper from the Wolverine. She's in Hydra. Okay, all right, I totally missed that. I could see Viper giving some offense up. If she's a part of Hydra, I could see Madam. She's kind of a random, you know, throw-in character, but she's got a tune that's very critical. It's like, all right, Baron Strucker, we know Scopely and some of the folks there love the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the Strucker family was in that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV series. The Strucker family was prominent in that series, so you could see him. Zola was in multiple movies, so you can definitely see that. I don't think Hunger's appeared anywhere, and believe it or not, Baron Strucker here, probably don't remember him, but what was it? I think the second Avengers, Age of Ultron, he made an appearance too. So he's been in the movies, he's been around a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see Scopely play with that. Any three of these characters I could see giving that offense up ability, and then anything else you would just kind of be extra. Maybe some offense downs around Viper. I'd see also adding some attack abilities, maybe some bleeds, because you're not going to necessarily have a poison. But I really like the idea of Baron Strucker, Viper, Zola, one of those three being the fifth one of this Hydra team. In the meantime, again, I don't know if the Kingpin thing is going to work because of the speed and holding on to waiting to that buff until the second turn. You could put yourself at risk because you got to go through multiple turns to get to something, and then if more defense up or more deflects are popping up. But again, if you got the disrupts, it might help. Arnim Zola is definitely going to be somebody who I could see of adding either buffs or debuffs to another team, so I could see him making sense. If he can go before Crossbones and Winter Soldier, because that's where you need those offense ups. So we're going to end where we started. You know, again, on Baron Zemo's passive. This turn, if he's charged, he's going to apply... He's clearing 3 positive effects from all enemies and applying Disrupted for 2 turns to all minion enemies. Shield minions, that's almost everybody besides Coulson and Fury, which is great. You've got the Mercs. That's going to your Merc Lieutenant. It's going to your Merc Riot Guard, which, again, are key parts of that team. But it doesn't go to Taskmaster, and it doesn't go to whether it's Killmonger, Shuri, or Bullseye, whoever you're using. Now, if you do use his ultimate, okay, you're doing an ability block potentially to Taskmaster and slowing for 2 turns. That would be amazing if he gets to use his ultimate prior to Taskmaster taking his first turn. Would be great. Really nice. Same thing with kind of the Fury situation, where if you're going to use him into Fury, if that speed up there with the Fury team versus the speed up of Hydra, who's going first here, right? And again, we don't know the speed yet, so we got to wait and see. But that will allow potentially for that counter. And then the other one is, again, Hydra with Red Skull. And the Red Skull speed up, that's 15%. Okay, so Baron Zemo gets a lot more than that. If we jump back to our not our infographic, but our actual spreadsheet here, we've got our Red Skull way at the bottom here. So he's not very fast. So his speed's about 85. And even with that 15%, we're not doing much here, okay? So we'll throw it in the formula. His speed is only 90, basically 98. So I could absolutely see Baron Zemo and all these other Hydra people going faster in Red Skull in that group, and then use Baron Zemo to throw the ability block on Red Skull, potentially limit that team. You're getting a whole bunch of disrupts out there from the Baron Zemo. So I like his Baron Zemo's flexibility here in being able to counter to many different teams. I suppose it's going to depend who you've got built up and who pops up. And I really kind of like that, where it's got the potential to do so many different counters throughout the board. And that's one of the things that I love of people already talking about. Well, what about Shield? And yeah, Hydra seemed obvious, but what about Mercs? You know, it's like, you know what? These could work on different levels, which makes war more versatile. And that's what we like and what we want. We don't want to necessarily have, well, this team has to be used here, this team has to be used here, this team. Anyway, so we'll see if it's how he shakes out. Pay attention to Baron Zemo's speed when he comes into the game. And what do you think? Zola? Viper? Von Strucker? You think those were going to be the ones who are actually going to bring that fifth spot? Who am I missing that you think can be a temporary fill-in until that time? Because we haven't heard anything about a fifth Hydra member anytime recently. Doesn't mean they're not coming. We still got Young Avengers out there with you can throw CM in there in the time being, and she's great until, Spider-Gwen gets here. But what do you think? You think this is going to make sense? You think this group can counter those three specific teams? Are you going to invest hard in Zemo? I mean, I personally really like War attacking, because those teams don't go out of style anytime soon. You can always use them. Whereas a War defense, at some point, always gets countered, right? So when you're going to invest, you always want to make sure you invest in War offense. At least that way you get more bang for your buck, knowing that they're going to last longer. So, I don't know, like I said, link in the description below to come to the Discord. Let's chat about it. Let me know, comment below if you want to, what I miss. Did I cover everything? This is perfect? Speculation? I don't know. Who knows? We won't know until we know. But I wanted to chat with you guys, throw some ideas out there, maybe bring this up with Scopely, see what they say. Maybe hey guys, make sure you think about these things. So anyway, hammer down the like button, subscriptions, notification bells, thingies, widgets, gidgets, all that kind of stuff. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.